Greetings one and all to this week's episode of 10 o'clock. I am going to be trying harder to make sure that I start recording the intro as close together as possible, because obviously there's the big huge delay. But yeah, anyway, moving on. So this week, episode 360. We've done a full circle, Loz.
A full circle. That's what this episode's called, the full circle.
The full circle. Okay, I need to. Yeah, I'll make a note of that in a second.
I'll type it.
You type it, man, because it's too hard for me to think and talk at the same time. So, and we are joined here today by our lovely supporter, Ludificorpayne. Shit, I've done this wrong. LudificorPayne?
You got it.
Yeah, Ludificorpayne.
Yeah,
okay. However, because evidently I'm an idiot, we're going to stick with Payne.
Yep. I do like Lucifrog, though.
Lucifrog?
Yeah, Lucifrog. That's nice.
Yeah, LudificorPayne. So, because I suck. Right. Not to diss on anyone, but yes. So, we are episode 360, and we're going to do the same thing that we do. Start everything with. We're going to start with the emblems. So, Payne, you can see both emblems further up in the Discord chat. Loz, if you care to scroll up, you're welcome to. I don't think you can actually properly see it on the tiny little screen that you can see. And Payne, which emblem is the winning emblem this week?
I like the idea of the knives and the Grenier mask, but something, I think even the kind of the pommel on one of the knives is nearly invisible, so it's got to be Loz, because that one's pretty solid overall.
Yep, the devil heart.
Is it actually, just to check on the Grenier one, is there actually a bit of armor or something that's including the last bit of one of the grips? Because that can happen with some. Yeah,
it's quite possible. I'd have to. Let's have.
I think the thing is they just don't have enough of like an outline on it, because it looks kind of like a poorly cropped Photoshop.
Yeah, no, you know, it's it's that thing that you can only see the emblem as long as it's covering over part of your warframe and things like that. It's a drawing technique. So if it's not obscuring part of the warframe, it just doesn't draw it, which is like sad panda. Right.
I just such a pain.
Cool. So Loz, you win, you bastard. And we're now going to move on to Dojo Dusting. Wait, why did that not change? Okay, there we go. Right, so moving on to Dojo Dusting. At Loz's request, we're no longer going to be putting up the how is 10 o'clock doing graphs as part of the graphs. However, one nice thing of this week is we had 6 whole graphs. So it's like I've had to make a whole new button for people. So I hope everyone's happy with that. We're going to be doing the 365th episode in 5 episodes time, and when we do, we're going to be doing it as every frame a pause, where we're going to be
it's a watch together, basically.
Yeah, so basically we're going to be going over the core elements of what happened in the first ever 10 o'clock, and probably touching on the actual topics of what we discussed in 10 o'clock, and laugh at how bad we are at being entertainers.
How after 365 episodes we still haven't improved in any way.
Well, I hope we've improved in some way, but we still suck.
I put it upon you to find a way that we have improved. But anyway,
microphone quality.
Maybe.
Webcams.
Buy your way to improvements, children. Spend more money.
Right.
Get that better webcam and microphone. That's what you need.
Anyway.
£10,000 on setup.
Whoa, 10,000. Jeez, whoa, Christ. But if you wish,
that's 30 grand here, by the way, Loz. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Anyway,
that's how you make it big. Better camera and microphone.
If you wish to have an opportunity of being on 10 o'clock, in the description below, you'll see 2 links to either Patreon or Ko-fi, where you can actually support the production of various shows like Arbiter's Assessment and the Xeno Codex, to which if you subscribe for more than $5 or more, then we will organize an episode for you to be on 10 o'clock. We only have supporters once a month, but we do make sure everyone gets their opportunity. Cool. And I also want to thank Payne here for being really lovely and being up at 5 in the morning, Australian time, to actually do it today. So thank you so much. Cool. The last Dojo Dusting, I want to point out, we are not covering the topics of the dev stream. I believe there is a dev stream tomorrow, but due to me going away, we're actually recording this on the Thursday. So if there's anything extra special awesome, it'll probably, like that's said during the dev stream, we'll probably cover it in next week's episode. Apologies, everyone. Right. I think that's enough of that. Let's move on to the topics.
Okay.
Cool. So, topic 1. Guns that don't work against common enemies are badly designed guns. And topic 2. After seeing the Entrati mechs, I realized there were even more powerful things than warframes in the old war.
Ooh.
Right. So going to topic 1. Starting with topic 1. I love the Zymos. What's the Zymos?
Oh my god. Go on.
Okay, I don't know what the Zymos is. Lars, you look.
That's the new infested pistol. It does the headshots that explode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love the Zymos, but given the fact that it doesn't work against a large portion of enemies, those without heads, it is not effective. I have secondary guns that work on all enemies. An enemy that I face will be hurt by my Kuva Kraken, Nucor, or Hystrix Acarius? Yeah, Axtomati, etc. So why would I choose a gun that doesn't work on some enemies instead? If you make a gun with a special effect, make it work when hitting an enemy weak spot instead of a headshot. Many enemies have no head, or their head is a tougher spot than other places. There are still enemies with no weak point that I know of. Like, how many reloads will it take before a Nox head before a Nox head shield? Oh god. Like, how many reloads will it take to break a Nox head shield, but it would at least be functional? Okay. Thoughts?
I actually responded to this Reddit thread. A lot of angry people in there arguing about this, the OP wanting only to use Zymos, but there's this achievement for going through the Arcan Towers, the Void, only doing headshots, and I discovered that you can't do that if you kill any of the mowers in there, because their weak spot is their like body, but the head counts as their actual head, and it's just sort of really inconsistent all over.
I find it interesting that there are actually enemies where the weak spot is not the head. Like
I love it.
That there's a distinction between head and weak spot.
I think it's like really clever. It's just that the coding has like some semantic difference between headshots being on humanoid enemies and not, where enemies that don't have heads in the same place, you can hit their weak spot and that's supposed to be a headshot, but it doesn't proc headshot effects. LudificorPayne?
I'm just glancing through the wiki, and the wiki doesn't mention anything at all about mobs not having areas that, you know, it not being effective on any mobs or certain mobs. So I'm just wondering if it just that. I mean, yeah, I think you're completely right on the mower issue. If I'm remembering correctly, I think originally it was actually set up that the gun on the back of a mower was the head, or not the actual head of the visually, but actually was counted as the weak spot. And I think they did at some point, or sometimes, or some Momoas move it down to where it's supposed to be, which is the little actual like bird head between the legs. But I'm not sure if that's for all of them. I mean, I can totally imagine that the fusion Moas in the void on the corrupted side, they wouldn't get fixed or whatever. But I mean, if this really is an issue, that there are things without heads or things that visibly look like heads, that this is not visually doing the effect it should be on. If somebody put together a lovely compilation video testing this in the simulacrum, DE would address it. I have no doubt that they would address it. So I if anything, I think it's more just an oversight, or because DE goes, here is a gun, and they just type in when this gun does a headshot, and then they don't look at the, well, how does this relate to all the mobs? And they go, well, is it that? I mean, for instance, like the runner, the head is, in my understanding, the head's like underneath almost. It's the bit of grenade thing that's right at the bottom. So I think some people might not even realize where their head is on that, or technically is. So I don't know. I feel that maybe.
Sorry, I was going to actually talk about the runner. Is that the head or is that the weak spot? Because now we know that there's a distinction. Spot. Yeah, we now know that there's a distinction between the two. Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's not.
I also think it, like for the Xeno specifically, there's an animation they play when they get hit in the head, so maybe it just doesn't trigger that on enemies that can't play that animation. Could be like anything, but it's just like such like a minor technical, like literally semantic difference in the code. But I mean, they take extra damage when you shoot them there, but it just doesn't proc the effect.
But I mean, if you could show that it's not, if somebody put together a video, I mean, you can spawn infinite enemies that you want and put together a video, even slow motion, shooting these different areas and seeing this visual effect not happening, you would address this. They really would. So I think it's more of an oversight than a thing. As changing it to weak spot, I don't see any problem with also just changing it to weak spot. If it's seeing a grub bore into them, then I think it'd be fine.
I want to change the topic. So I change the direction of the conversation. However, Payne, if you've got something you want to add first.
I was just going to ask, like, there are some enemies where I don't have any idea where the weak spot is, and it's not particularly obvious. Like, with the big worm things in Deimos, the pillar ones.
Spiny bastards.
Do you have spiny bastards. Do you have any idea where their heads are? Because I honestly, like, that's like really poorly telegraphed. I wonder if these sort of things, maybe it's getting in the way they're just indicated as weak spots.
Well, I'm not. I have killed loads of those, and I've been playing a lot of Deimos for once. It's fine, trying to catch up. But I remember when they announced that mob, and that I think the head is actually at the bottom, because the way it is a humanoid form is that the spine is bent backwards and up. They did show like a zoomed in thing of the model. I mean, everyone looking at it would think that the head is the bit at the top, because that's how we visually recognize enemies. But I remember how the way that the head is actually somewhere at the bottom of the model. I'm not sure. I have to look it up though. But I remember that because it's like the spine is bent back up and it's actually shooting technically backwards at you. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, what were you wanting to talk about, Xeno, in regards to this?
So, my big question is, does every weapon have to be perfectly effective? Right? Does every weapon like that has a niche quirk have to be the absolute? Like, for example, imagine the Xenostar. You throw the disc. I'm saying this as if I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've not used the Xenostar. You throw the disc on the floor. What if it didn't affect flying units? Right? Are people going to kick off then? Yeah. Right. For example, trying to think of anything else that has weird quirks to it.
Okay, I've got a good one. I've been using the Halakar, which disarms enemies, and so it's useless against infested because they don't carry guns.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
It's super niche, but it's kind of the fun of it is the fact that it does something nothing else does, but only in a specific scenario. I think the Xeno specifically is a bad example because it's just a gun that go boom if you shoot them in the head. But there are definitely weapons where it's like, if it doesn't work, it's because that's not what it's supposed to do, and that's kind of the rules. That makes sense.
So my question here is it realistically a big problem that the Xymos is not great at all enemies.
Well, isn't that what damage resistance is for and stuff? Because it does certain types of damage, which makes it worse anyways. You double up with mechanics not operating against certain enemies, intentionally or otherwise, then it's sort of like... I don't know, Loz, what do you think, man?
Sorry, I'm just trying to find a picture of a bloody juggler's head, but I can't get my hands on it live.
I like the idea. I like the fact that in order to find the head, you've got to do like a deep wiki search. You got to go through the concept art.
Yeah, I'm having to because the wiki
you got to
just
pull
has
up
a
Keith
picture
Thompson and ask him personally, "Where's the head on this damn thing, man?"
Yeah, all the wiki does is they've just got a top of the pelvis section. Like, yep, there we go. That's what it is. It's like, no, that's just an upside down pelvis with a hole in it. It's like, that's not important.
In a game as fast-paced as this, they got to telegraph that stuff better. Anyways, what do you think on the weapons? What do you think about...
Sorry, yes, you were saying about the weapon that would only work on mobs that have guns. That one.
Yeah. So like niche weapons that do specific stuff.
You said my favorite word.
But yeah, the thing is that should they be universally applicable, right?
No.
I mean, Xeno worded a lot better.
I don't think they should be. I love the idea of weapons having particular niches, and the one about mobs that this disarms mobs. The mob doesn't have a weapon. That makes perfect sense to me. Why should seeing as the fact that we're tooled up with a minimum? I mean, even at the start of the game, you have 3 weapons. Later on, you can have 4 weapons. Then you can have 4 weapons, a dog or a turret. Then 4 weapons, a dog/pet, and a kid with zappy powers. And then 4 weapons, a dog/turret/kid with zappy powers, plus a tank. I mean, the fact that some of those weapons having niches is kind of cool. I need to pull out this weapon, or I pull out this weapon to do a particular thing, disarm the enemy, and then I go back to my other weapon. I love that. It gives you reasons to use a weapon within the arsenal, basically the arsenal that we bring to every mission now. It's just crazy.
I mean, Azandi's especially good at finding these kind of combos where you get that like interactions you would never imagine sort of stuff. But I think like the idea that power is everything, and if weapons are universally powerful, it's kind of a limiting factor because that's how you get stuff like mandatory mods and everybody using the new core condition overload combo, and it's sort of like that reduces the amount of different things you can do. Because the ideal is just to kill everything so quickly.
And the tricky thing is then I feel what might happen is that D bases the situations they give us on you having the meta niche, the meta design thing, and then it even further invalidates any other thing, and you are just being pigeonholed into using the best thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, you guys, have you done much Steel Path?
I'm just gonna say yes, but not all.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done all of it either. But basically, when I started, I got hard gear checked and realized that the only way I was able to start doing missions is if I pulled out like a Stropha build and the new core and did that. And it was like, yeah, the Steel Path is sort of intrinsic motivation. You don't get rewarded for it, but you just can't unless you have something like that going on, and they balanced it around that. Where if you took a Halakar, you're screwed. Oh, go on, Loz.
I do feel that it's not too bad on the Steel Path. I definitely think that Xeno would agree that when we did it, we did have a reflection on ourselves and go, wow, we can't just do what we normally do of just play with what we like playing with and take it, and then we sat there playing against Bayhek for I think like half an hour without killing him, going, we need to go back to the blueprints here and realize how this game works so we can actually play it properly.
How do you play game?
How do you play game? So I do feel it's a bit of that, but I don't think Steel Path invalidates things.
Oh no, and you shouldn't really base your balanced decisions around that mode anyways. But it's sort of like if you do take one of those niche weapons to Steel Path and they just can't compete in that field, you're obviously handicapping yourself, but I don't think that's necessarily wrong or bad. I think in this case, the value of having something fun or interesting outweighs the value of just getting it done quicker.
Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, Steel Path though does go. Oh, if that's what what you find fun, better at least be functional in the game mechanics. Like you can be like, I prefer this gun, but then, and I'm going to stick with it the whole way through Steel Path. But then you're going to have to look at damage types, look at the enemies you're fighting every mission, make up separate builds for different enemies. Because that's what me and Xeno used to do. Is we used to probably just use one build. What was your gun, Xeno? Mine was an Opticore. What was yours?
Yeah? Either the Stradivar Prime or the Tenora.
Yeah, and did you just like have one build on it and go, yeah, I just take this wherever? Don't really think.
Go shoot.
Yeah. I mean, I played like Inaris pretty much exclusively up to MR19 because you didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Where, it was really unfortunate actually because I stopped playing because I'm like, oh, this game's so boring. But no, it's just Inaris that's boring. But I mean, that's a question, right? Like, the fun niche thing that you do, it also has to be functional. That kind of applies to these unique weapon effects, right?
Yeah.
So this is the ultimate question, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to the replies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, do you think specifically for the Xymos, where it is based on headshots, not weak points, should it be changed to accommodate for weak points, or is it that niche gun?
Fine.
Oh, well, I mean, the idea is it's a brain parasite that makes your brain explode. So if they don't have a brain, then it shouldn't explode.
I would like to see it function on weak points, but then it does less damage to a weak point over a head. But then to combine with that, if there are mobs that are not the heads are not functional, that needs fixing just as much.
Yeah,
it needs to be consistent.
I think that'll happen eventually, no matter what. But I do think. I guess the thing is it directly, like with the Xymos, if it directly says this works on heads only versus this works on like weak point hits, because if it's in the description of the gun, it makes their head explode and they don't have a head, then yeah, it's fine.
Infect your foes with this spore scattering pistol. Headshots burrow in and explode, releasing spore clouds that seek out nearby enemies. So I suppose technically there's headshots, but.
Well, I guess it's the separation between like the actual definition of headshot versus the mechanical definition.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like semantics.
Maybe the solution here is you get a mod for your companion that actually highlights where the head is.
Ooh, yeah.
This is what you're aiming for.
Have you guys used the Volpifiler yet?
No.
I would get one of those, but that would be a fun precept, I think, for all companions actually.
Yeah.
Just silly little things. All right, replies.
Yeah, let's replies this, LudificorPayne.
You can only release the same automatic burst and semi-projectile or hit scan weapon so many times. At some point, you just have to get creative. I'd rather have something like Xymos than yet another Lex or Axtiletto with a different skin and some slightly different stats.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
Lot of variations on that gun go shoot in different way, but like Xymos is fun.
I think it's fine to have the additional cool feature is fine. I really like the idea of an infested worm burrowing in. It's more, in my opinion, it's more of an oversight than anything else. If there's just a few mobs or models that just don't work right.
Mm-hmm.
And gun go pew 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 pew. Right, next one. The headshot mechanics in-game don't apply consistently to enemies that aren't humanoid. Bonus damage does, but the fact that some enemies have weak points instead of head and some weapon arcanes, etc. don't work because they aren't coded as headshots, even though the weak spots are supposed to be a headshot analog.
Hey, LudificorLOz. Who said that?
I don't know. It's just on a list from Tobiah, but does it sound very familiar to you? Does it?
Yeah, it kind of sounds like something I said just the other day, actually.
So uncanny. So uncanny that is.
Yeah. No, wow. I mean, yeah, that's wild, honestly. I don't use Reddit that much, so the fact that you have to pull the one thread I replied to in like a week.
Well, It's Tobiah who pulls them, I think. So well done, Tobiah.
No, that's amazing. Honestly,
that means he read through them, saw yours, and went, "That's a very level-headed person. I will take their comments." Well done, Tobiah. Next one. I have never been in a room full of enemies and been like, "Damn, guess I can't use my Nell." There is always one type of enemy with an easy-to-hit headshot, and if there isn't, then I use lockdown and make it so they're an easy-to-hit headshot. Chargers' heads are particularly dragging on the floor. Sorry. Chargers' heads are practically dragging on the floor. Mowers have a crotch head, so there'll always be an option, even if you don't think there is. Yeah, now, and if there is any model issues where the head is poorly defined or is not being classed as a head, just seriously make a video highlighting it to DE with like 20 examples and just throw it on Twitter at Steve. It'll get fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make a sensible video highlighting the problem. Very clear evidence. Bam, it'll get fixed.
How many other replies are there?
We pick a handful from the list. That's what to buy.
Yeah.
There's one more.
Okay.
You choose the gun that's best for the situation and how you feel like playing. Having niche weapons that cater to different playstyles means there is more than one best weapon depending on what you're doing /feeling/fighting. Not every weapon has to compete for the best overall or most used. Yes, I agree.
Yes, 100%. I mean, that particular thread, it devolved into people calling each other mean names, but they do have a point. Like, you want to kind of have weapons that do different jobs. Like, a lot of the kind of hyper builds that people use, they kind of feed into doing one thing really well. So all weapons power up a specific thing. But, like, the idea of just having, like, this is my gun for the big enemies, this is my gun for this scenario, I like that a lot. And the Zymos is, like, a very specific utility where you shoot like a random base mob in the head and he kills all his friends by exploding. So you can't use that for every enemy, though.
I think, if anything, this is the response that like appeals to me the most. It's like, for example, like I never use the Nell, right? I'm not a fan of the Nell. I never have been, but it doesn't mean that it's not viable for other people. So, I'm not going to pitch a fit because, the Nell's not good enough for me. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Xbox, so I can't use the Nell because things moving too fast, you just can't line that up quickly enough. So, like, weapons like the Nell that require headshots or the Toxicist or whatever, you can't use those. So I just kind of move on. I'm not losing any sleep over the fact that there's a weapon that I just can't use. I definitely think, like, the personal preference is a big deal here too, because honestly, like, the Zymos is a fun idea, but I don't use it. I don't think it's particularly fun to use. So having things change so that you can use the Zymos all the time on every enemy would probably not be a good game design decision.
Yeah, I mean, like, as we've already previously said, like, how many times can you recoat the same gun? I mean, like, this gun fires in prime numbers. Like, yeah, because people are gonna love that.
What is that? Why?
Yeah, exactly. Why? Why would this even exist? So either they're gonna give you the same thing that you've already had, just in a different shade or shape, or they're going to get creative. So, it is what it is. And if you're having a particular hard time with one branch of the enemy factions, then maybe it's a case of, I'm going to use this for the Grineer because they've all got bleeding heads.
Or even just like, I'm bored of the prime numbers, I want to try something that's a little more wacky or something. And it's not going to work all the time, but it's fun.
Yeah, so like as you shoot, it starts singing Frere Jacques.
Yeah, what? Hell yeah.
No, the whole point is to be like weird and quirky shit. Like, if you don't want something like this, like how extreme do they have to go?
Right. Well, as for singing, they can't do that until they give us the bloody peculiar mods that give us.
Look, we've already got Claptrap. We can't bring in the annoying talking guns from Borderlands 2.
Right. Should we move on to the next topic?
Yes, please.
Cool. Topic number 2. One that I'm certainly excited for. That didn't change. Why didn't that change? Come on. Still not changing. Why isn't that changing? Come on. Here we go. Oh, I think it's because I clicked on the down window. Right. After seeing the Entrati Max, I realized there were more powerful things in than Warframes in the old war. The mechs are amazing, but ever noticed that the first time they ever used this control other things with an operator other than what?
Controlling other things with an operator other than your frame.
Thing was in the War Within. So they're talking about the great
The Great Maw.
Right, yeah. I thought it was the Golden Maw.
The Maw.
You literally controlled an underground burrowing creature with your operator. Apparently, no, with your OP.
I was about to say, like, with your original pose.
Yep. Now you're using transference to control a mech. So Warframe wasn't the only thing they controlled all the time. If I'm not wrong, the Deviri Paradox might have something like this with the horses, except riding it with transference.
Oh, I was so excited by this topic, by the title. Now you've read it, I'm just bored.
Okay.
Can I point how they're wrong now?
Go for it.
Go on, Drew. Go on, man.
Well, Loz, but yeah, go Loz.
The first of all,
yeah.
If you paid any attention to the Deviri Paradox, you see the fact that the person who's the operator but older throws out their hand as if to fire an energy beam at the oncoming enemy and then gets sort of confused that nothing happens, clearly showing that they don't have their cool void powers for some reason. Right? Then, if they could transference into the horse and go into horse form, you'd see them do that. But no, what do you see? You see them use the shotgun, they have to use a gun to kill anything, and then they ride the horse. No, I don't think we're going to transference into the bloody horses. That's so... No. God, I thought this topic was going to be so cool because it would explain how pointless Warframes are in the world now. No,
Well,
it's like, oh, but I could be a horse. Go play Horse Simulator.
Well, they might be wrong about the specific idea of horses, but we do control other things with our operator, quote unquote. So it's definitely a thing where we can just possess certain machines.
Yep.
I think that's awesome. And I mean, obviously the technical limitations of coding all these different systems of play, it's a big ask, but I'd love to see more of that. Like, imagine possessing your railjack instead of just jumping in the pilot seat. Like, that's how you end up with possessing a horse, of course, when you just throw things out there. But there's a lot of potential.
I think, if I'm right, if my memory serves me, Xeno might correct me wrong, I think I remember either I or someone else asked Steve that after TennoCon that year when they showed railjack. Like, why don't we just go into the turret? Like, and the logic was that they always wanted to maintain the camera behind your Warframe thing. That it's one of the key things they have in the game is they want, from start to finish, you're always with your character. You never just go back into a menu. You're just looking at menus and spreadsheets. You always want to be behind the view of your character as if you're seeing your character do all the things, even when operating menus. That's why you've got the diegetic UI.
Yes.
Is that the ones Yeah. They always want to maintain that. So that's why you see your character go into a turret. You see the Warframe. When in theory, it would have been really cool and kind of maybe more interesting. Well, I don't know, visually interesting or whatever. If you just became the railjack, if you just became a turret, you could just focus on that. But they wanted to maintain the Warframe in Warframe, which there is some sense there, I can see.
I really don't like how the necromechs were introduced. Right? The part of the narrative where they're introduced, like this is pre Second Dream, right? So newer players don't even know that they're this kid, right? So when you're playing the quest, you oh wait, no, hold on. I might have to backtrack myself a little bit. When you're playing the quest, you go into the underground part. You see the underground part for the first time, and you interact with the Necrolisk without getting out of your Warframe, right? But after that point, and this is where I'm gonna, correct myself. I'm gonna check myself. you can't actually get a necromech until you've done the second dream, because you can't get into that part of the necrolisk until you've got your operator to go through the door.
Yes.
Right? That consistency does bug me a lot.
I'm surprised you can access Deimos at all before doing the second dream. Like, I know it's a new, fun, exciting thing you want new players to do, but the kind of like everything about it seems like it should be post second dream.
It should be. I also want to like highlight, if people try to say, "Oh no, Xeno, you're wrong. You can't access the door unless you've got your kiddo." No, you can, because I went in there as my kiddo during the quest, and then I thought to myself, I wonder what happens if I summon my Warframe. Yeah, I fucking summoned my Warframe, and I was still in the actual subterranean area. You don't have to do it as your operator, right? You can do it with your Warframe. So
do you have to use the operator to go through the door at least?
No, you just walk right through it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. That's the big thing. So the consistency with the necromechs, if they are this big, all-powerful dreadnought, right? Where are they in the rest of the universe?
Yeah.
Right? If this was a relic of exclusively the Entrati family, that makes a lot more sense. Right? If it was like the Entrati like owned the patent or whatever, or they were the ones that could fuse the Cephalon mind to a organic frame or whatever to actually host it into the necromech, the dreadnought, fine. Okay.
Hell, you could even very easily, with the law, say that it requires close proximity to the heart of the void or whatever to do that fusion, and that without a operator to power them away from Deimos, there's no way to deploy them en masse outside of Deimos, limiting their actual use in war. But they're perfect for defending Deimos. There you go, job done. That explains why they're only in one place, and it requires you to go use them elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, unless go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, when I first saw them, I thought they were like the first idea of like using the void to implant like an intelligence in a machine, because they're like obviously built out of bones and golds and just kind of like cobbled together, sort of like dressed up, but they seem like the first template before they came up with Warframes and using the Helmuth infestation to make biomechanical machines instead of purely mechanical ones.
Like, yeah, that's what I was hoping for as well. As if this was the first idea. They're like, okay, we need to create an enemy to fight the sentience, and they're like, right, we've got consciousness and we've got sort of pseudo something. You need a shelf to put it in. So they made, and that, I love the whole like cone cob thing in the middle, because it looks as like a rudimentary sarcophagus to be like, right, we just shove some intelligence in there, but obviously it easily degraded or corrupted. It's like, okay, that's a good first attempt, but it's not going to last. Let's go build something else. Oh, look, this infested mass seems to be able to maintain itself and makes a much better form. Instead, it's just like, no, these things are better. These things are just better.
Yeah, it really confuses me. Also, a minor tangent that I really want to highlight. So Loz, you reminded us of the Deviri Paradox teaser, where you see your older operator not being able to use their void powers, right? Everyone's heard me, I'm pretty sure everyone's heard me pitch the argument that it doesn't make sense that your Warframe becomes limp because, you're a Tenno, you are filled with void power, right? I've heard people turn to me and say, oh no, but the kiddos, they're batteries, so they store up charge, but they're unable to keep the Warframe going at full charge. But then again, hold on, but when you touch the Warframe in Second Dream, right, you're able to like keep it going and things like that. But then you've got the Warframe that's completely autonomous at the end of the Second Dream, and then you've got the whole this battery thing is completely debunked because you're in the fucking void and you're telling me you can't retain charge. Like I really, I do not like the heart. The heart feels jank. It feels like this is a MacGuffin. This is like the worst MacGuffin ever. It just exists. It is there. Doing what? Please elaborate. Please refine. Please restrict its MacGuffinness.
I think the heart of Deimos, like the story, it feels half done. Like we know that there's supposed to be 2 mechs and
Yep.
all this stuff. Like it feels like we're waiting on a second half because they put all this emphasis on the doorway and it being a portal or whatever, and then it's just like a door you walk through, like the one in Cetus. It's not a big deal, and the heart is the MacGuffin, but you do a quest with it, and I think grandmother tries to break it or something to get the family back together.
Yeah,
I was so annoyed by that.
Yeah, and it just doesn't mean anything. Like we're supposed to be defending it, but we see it twice. We see it the first time when it breaks, and then we go back and fix it, and that's it. It feels like there's more there. Like they haven't finished with it yet.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem. But again, leading back to this, like again, I dislike the fact that there's this whole thing about the Heart of Deimos. It's at the beginning of the new player experience, and then you're left wondering, why are we not talking about the heart anymore? Like why have we left Silver Pine Forest, where the Forsaken are being attacked by Worgen, the remnants of Dalaran, various different human settlements, and the Scourge, and we've gone to Turin Mill and we're talking about a bloody plague? I'm like, why aren't we reinforcing Silver Pine? I don't understand. It's there is a huge disconnect between adding stuff in later in the game but slotting it in at the beginning.
I mean, to another example of the narrative disconnects, you were talking earlier about how the necromechs are supposed to be, well, we don't see them anywhere before now, how niche they are. They're described as the first wave in the old war against the sentients, so they would have been everywhere.
Are they? What? Sorry.
Yeah, no. Father was talking when he introduces necromechs. He's like, you kids were the second wave, right?
Yeah.
The Warframes were the second wave, which implies the necromechs were the first wave. They were the first solution to fighting the sentients, and the Warframes were not supposed to be the ultimate solution. But more than that, the idea that
it doesn't quite iterate on that. No, the point is more that this was our first attempt, but then we made you, and we're the ones that finished the war. We're the ones that killed sentients en masse, not well known for it. These things apparently are not well known. Now, by the logic of that, it would be you would assume there's a reason why they moved on to make you if they made these things first, but there doesn't seem to be, because they're just better. Just give every Tenno a necromech.
I was thinking they're not really better. Or you just get Octavia and throw down a mallet and sit in a corner. It's like, if that's mechanically the power we're seeing doesn't match with the lore implication, it's really inconsistent.
For Loz's benefit, basically you get the necromech to kill itself.
Right, but what you mean with what? But why using
Octavia's mallet?
No, I'm not. I'm thinking, yeah, but that's the NPC necromech. I'm thinking more 4 players with Warframes versus 4 players with necromechs.
Oh yeah, I mean the power level there is the huge discrepancy.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's gonna get patched soon. I don't think that they realized that you were gonna be doing 20 million damage in like 5 seconds with these things.
Yeah, exactly. But if they don't change it, then the lore implication is they are relative. We can only base the strength of these things in the lore based on our relative strength that we see them do. And at the moment, it's like, why did
there's
infested flesh puppets when we have mechanical cool tanks?
But more than that, there's like these huge disparities. Fighting them, they're super weak. Playing them, they're super strong. And somewhere in between, we've got this like lore version of what they're supposed to be. And like Drew was saying before, that there's just the implication there. It's just so many inconsistencies here. Not just like mechanically with the necromechs in general, but like content in Deimos with the heart. It's supposed to be the big deal. We've got this immediate existential threat, literally, to all of reality, and we just leave after a while once we're done. You get bored.
I mean, so people like raise the point, like, so Here's an example, right? So maybe the reason why I think I may be regurgitating someone else's point. So if someone said this to me and I'm repeating it, know that I took it in. So the big thing is the reason why you get quote unquote weakened by the heart being destroyed and the door closing to the void is because your operator is still in the void, because you're still in the reservoir, you're still in the moon, which is still in the void, right? And thus you become this weakened Warframe. Your Wi-Fi's been turned off, kind of thing.
Are you saying thematically this in the timeline happens before War Within, and that's why?
Oh,
yeah, this definitely happens before War Within,
right?
Which is my biggest issue with this, because if this happens before War Within,
no, sorry, it happens before Second Dream.
Yes, yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Right.
Yeah, because as I said, you don't need your operator to get to finish the quest.
But the whole point of the Second Dream is like, you never knew what you were, but this is what you are, really. Oh, wow, I never knew I was actually somewhere else. I thought I was me. But instead, you felt your Warframe was you. But this is like, no, get out your Warframe, get in this thing. It's like...
No, but you don't get out.
You don't put your Warframe in the Necromech.
No, but you just touch the thing. But you can do that as your Warframe. You don't have to do that as your operator.
Yeah, but Drew, were you saying that basically the part where you're weakened, you're assuming the perspective of the Warframe sans operator trying to make its way back? Like, it's self-piloting, trying to get out. Because if the operator, the Wi-Fi's been cut off and the connection's severed there...
He's not implying that it's cut off. He's assuming they're getting terrible packet loss.
Loz, give yourself a pat on the back.
Can I have a point?
Yeah, you can have a point for that.
Yes.
I love that though.
Yeah,
I think that's clever.
That's what's been said to me, but it just feels like when this happened, when you got like when the door closed and everything.
Yeah.
You should not have been able, like, as a regular player, you should not have been able to, as a veteran, you should not have been able to get out of your Warframe. It should have forced you in the same perspective as every other player, where you are just your Warframe. So everyone goes through the door by themselves. Everyone walks down to the thing and interacts with Snake as the new players would, and then maybe there's a line from father or mother or grandmother which basically says you'll be able to access that area again once you've matured or something like that, and maybe
once
again
you've woken up.
Once you've woken up. Good job, yes. But like it just feels really inconsistent with the fact that we have these super tanky mechs that just don't exist anywhere else in the universe, and it just doesn't fucking make sense why.
Was it the new war, we had that animation where we saw Warframes fighting sentients to defend the reservoir and all that?
The old war.
Imagine seeing imagine seeing some like necromechs in there as well, just blasting. Like that would be so cool, even if it's just seeing that. But these are definitely being retconned in, and then apparently given like a pretty big role in the old war.
So I would be fine, right, if they retconned that cinematic, if they actually put the necromechs in. I would be fine if they put the corpses of necromechs just on the odd planet, right? I would be fine with the reason why the necromechs were abandoned was because sentience could confuse them, they could take over them, they could just break them. They adapted too much to the necromechs and just obliterated them, right? But they couldn't adapt as easily to Tenno-fueled Warframes.
No, I think a much simpler and easy solution, which all they need to do is they could say it with one line, is that necromechs are expensive to build. Growing warframes is pretty cheap, because it would also really make sense about how, in fact, we've got all these different warframes, and you can just basically, it's like we could grow them like weeds with infested flesh. You just need a line like that.
Whereas again, that would work perfectly fine, because you could say you couldn't build the necromechs fast enough. Yeah. Again, I'd be fine for that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
There's
the
so many
sentients
options
are
to
self-replicating, so they would just outnumber them so quickly. So yeah, they would be like, started, tried it, didn't work, moved on.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it could be like just saying as a war of attrition is we could build them, but the time it took to fix them, repair them, build another one, put things back together, we needed something that could repair itself in the field. Oh, look, infested flesh does a good job of that, you know. But it just needs a line. Just needed just one branching comment somewhere.
Yeah. You know, it just, or and again, like, it would be nice to see remnants of necromechs, like in I don't know, not necessarily...
more than just remnants. I would love to see, let's say, on some planets that there's sort of like you could, when you're doing a special excavation mode when you're digging, and that you dig up things, and that some things you can dig up a necromechs, which get up and you have a necromech fight just randomly. You know, it's a percentage chance you have that. It's a percentage chance that you dig up a sentience. It's a percentage chance you dig up a bomb. It's a percentage chance you dig up a loot box. You know.
Well, I would like it if at the archaeology sites in Plains of Eidolon, they just littered the... littered is way too strong. Like, they had small parts. They... again, peppered is still too strong. I'm talking like, a particle in the vacuum of space kind of. This is how sparingly they fucking put them in there.
Homeopathically combined them onto the Plains of Eidolon.
I'm just gonna have to nod and agree, because I have no idea what the fuck that means.
Homeopathy is basically where you combine things with water, and the idea is that the water gains the memory of the thing you put in it, and then you dilute it to bajillion times. So, like if you got in a car crash, get a little bit of a Ford Mondeo, and then dilute it a billion times, and thus the water takes all the properties of Ford Mondeo, and we heal you.
Yeah, a big thing as well. It's got to be the thing that caused it in the first place. So if you're poisoned, you take poison at like 1 to 1,000 ratio.
Yeah, so like at these archaeology sites, you could put like here's the leg of a necromech, or here's the knee of a necromech. You could go to places like Phobos, where they occasionally have not Phobos, Mars, where they occasionally have water, and you could put a necromech under the water. Just sort of like lying there kind of thing, or a part of a necromech lying there. So just peppering the tiles with that kind of stuff, all the tiles, I think would go so goddamn far with solidifying their role in the lore of Warframe. Because right now, it's like, I know the Band-Aid is like coming off. Could you please put it on properly?
They definitely need to do a passover for consistency in the scripts. I mean, they've got a new lead writer, well, new-ish, and he's definitely adding a lot of interesting ideas, but he needs to go back over a lot of stuff, I think.
Are you talking about
Cam Rogers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's been there for a long time. He's been there with...
He came with the Chains of Harrow quest just after that.
No, he was before then, because he...
really?
I'm pretty sure he wrote the Chains of Harrow quest.
Yeah.
So...
But I don't know. I mean, I was trying to research because I was very interested to see how the writing was handled, like if it was a single or team-led enterprise. But I do think they need to go and do like a consistency pass on all of this, because there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't feel right. Where it would be as easy as adding lines that acknowledge sort of new developments and stuff.
Actually, one thing, I don't often do this. I would love to know, how difficult is it to add a line to patch up the plot hole, right? Because we always say, oh, it's just as easy as adding a line here or there, right? But my question is, like, we boast big claims. How easy is it actually?
Like, from a mechanical standpoint?
No, from a developer standpoint.
Yeah, like, I guess, I meant more like, is it like hard to code in? How hard is it to code in? Or is it more like getting recorded and written, sort of thing.
Yeah.
What?
So it's.
What are you talking about? All you do is you put items on the bloody plains of Deimos of, oh look, a broken necromech that I can scan. You scan it, a wad of text comes out about the production of necromechs. Job done. Move on with their lives, and everyone feels better for it.
So codex.
Just like they got the whole. Yeah, codex entries, just like they did with the fish, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the thing is,
I just want to
there's
point out
always
if these things already
complications.
exist, I will hold up my hand of being, oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
behind and slow. If these things already exist, but I doubt they do.
Cool.
yeah.
We've spent a wad of time on that.
Way too long.
No. To be honest, this is the topic that I wanted to spend the time on.
Yeah, rather than the actual one, which was like, what was it? What was the actual thing? Can I ride it? Can I be a horse, please? I want to be a horse.
I would love that. Anyways.
Oh god.
So we actually answered the topic that it should have been.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Can I
let's.
find out that there was an N64 game where it was like a space station and you were a robot, but your body got damaged. You became a chip, and you could jump into other robots, and you could be. And there's like you could be a sheep, you could be a bee, you could be a rat, and that's like. Is that what people want? A Warframe game where you can hop into different animals and things.
We get the new war, but it's like that.
Like
you have to pilot that.
Don't get me wrong. I'm down for like the Viri paradox where you actually have rideable mounts, right? I'm totally down for that. I'm also happy with how they did the velocipods. I can't remember which one it is. Because
go on.
They only exist on Deimos.
Oh, by the way, I'll interrupt you now. They just added it as skins for K drives, so you can have them anywhere.
But it's a skin.
Yeah, they've just announced you can have each of the 3 colors as skins for your K drive.
It's not actual K drives.
It's
No, my point is it's not a new vehicle that I now have to go fucking level up.
Oh, well, yeah, you don't have to level it up at least.
Okay, good.
Although that would be interesting.
No, it wouldn't.
But it is a skin, so it's everywhere now. It's so I'm definitely getting that. Just so I can like psychically harass you via grinding across, the plains of Ilon or whatever on a fucking bug. Are we allowed to swear?
Yes, yeah, we're British. It's every other word for us. It's like butter on toast.
Perfect.
So you're allowed to swear.
So the game I found it was called Space Station Silicon Valley or Evo Space Adventures.
I can't
It's a really cool game.
It's so hard to tell what you're doing because of your poker face. I'm like, oh, you were looking that up.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's amazing.
Should we move to the replies?
It's a British game. Way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we haven't even done the replies.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Let's move to the replies.
Right, this is going to talk how they want to be bloody horses. Right, here we go. Oricans had the transference before the Tenno, but they used it mostly for transferring themselves from one body to another. The difference with Tenno is they can do transference at will, at range, and we go back to our current body whenever we want. Considering how Lloyd says the mechs were stupid like a rock, they probably transferred someone into the machine or fused someone with it, the skull and all. But it was early tech. They weren't people at all, just some consciousness with some commands.
No, we know that they were cephalons.
Yeah.
So...
Or the same thing as a cephalon.
Also, do they actually call the transferring of body to body, like mine is like the permanence? Do they actually call that transference?
Because they had different wording more within.
Yeah, the Uvan, or Uvan or something.
Uvan. No, I think Uvan referred to the actual body you would get. There was a word that the Queen would use though.
Oh God!
Like her regeneration, not regeneration.
Yeah, I
thought
it was like I want my.
Uvan, was it?
I thought. I mean that was the implication to me. I mean, like unless you actually have a fucking dictionary, it's so hard to understand what these fucking words are. But
you can turn you can turn the whatchamacallit on the subtitles.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure she says like I want my body, I want my Uvan. I like my thought was the whole regeneration process, the whole transference. I want my transference. I want my coming of age kind of thing. That was
maybe the body, like the term they use for the bodies that they would buy at those like markets or whether was that.
Potentially.
Like they would reduce them to like a possession. They're not even people. They call them like a thing. Like, this is my new iPod. This is my new UVAM or whatever.
Yeah, potentially.
I want my iPod sort of thing. Yeah.
I want
An
my
Origin,
PlayStation 5.
it revealed the Queen's plan to enact an Orokin ritual known as the Continuity.
Right.
Oh, continuity. There we go.
Good job, Loz.
Yeah, so that's why I think Yuvan is the word that would be your new body after your continuity, would be the term.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I assume it never really gets described, but she keeps saying it as if that's the closest I
No,
could
she only
pick up
says it
from.
once. She only says
I know.
Yuvan once.
Twice. I think it's said twice.
Does she?
Yeah, I think it's another time because then it's referred at you. That's how it's like, oh, yeah. I swear there's at least two. But
I can't imagine it's a major plot beat if only one character says it 2 times.
No, exactly.
I mean, yeah. So what was the rest of the reply?
No, well, basically they were saying like how necromechs are dumb as rocks and things like that.
Yeah.
And my point was, but they're cephalons. Like they've already said that they were cephalons in physical form. But my question was, did the Orokin actually call it transference, or do they have a special? No, it's the continuity. That was right. Should we move on to the second one, Oz?
Yeah. Operators never truly awakened their abilities until the War Within, when you go on a Teshin-fueled training montage. It's a bit of a plot hole, but until Lotus wakes us up in the second dream, Tenno literally believed that they were the Warframe, and it had gone long enough for the Tenno to develop multiple subcultures and clans. All the Orokin knew was that the Tenno could control Warframes, and Warframes was one of the few things left that were effective against sentience. It never explained what happened to the Tenno when the Warframe itself died without the Tenno being self-aware.
I want to raise a point. I just it's not Teshin fuel training montage. People do actually realize it was Inception, right? It was it was like the whole training montage, so to speak. It was Inception because you did it during the span of you fell over and you woke up. Right? Because Ordis kicks you out of the Lisette. He abandons you and you're just like, I woke up. And, hold on, what was Teshin actually talking to me? Or was I dreaming Teshin as well as Margulis? Was it all in my head? So as far as I also understand it, our powers still haven't fully awokened.
I mean, I guess that remains to be seen on if they ever decide to add more to the system. It may be that they'll just retcon in that, no, this is it. But more to the point, I think that reply, they kind of also miss out on the fact that... What was my point? I don't remember.
I'm looking at the poker face that is Loz. He's clearly looking stuff up.
Trying to look up the script from War Within about Yuvan, but I can't spell Yuvan or remember how it is or find it in the script.
I think it has starts with a Y.
I mean, that's a good question. What happens to the operator when the Warframe dies before you realize that you're not the Warframe? But, I mean, before that point, it was simply like, we didn't actually die. It's just a mechanical respawn token system, so it probably doesn't have much of a lore explanation because it's non-diagenic.
Does it wipe does it wipe the mind every time? It's hard to say,
Yeah.
Right. Let's go on to the next reply.
Sure.
I mean, we take down 3 of those more powerful mechs at once with a single Warframe, assuming you play ISO Vault solo. I don't know that I'd give them too much credit. Theoretically, though, yes. Anything with transference controls would be open to us. Sacrifice established that Warframes needed Tenno because of empathy with the progenitor embedded in the frame. But Orokin had transference tech outside of that use, and even as frames went, Ballas was able to briefly control Umbra.
Progenitor? Is that the right?
No. Oh, yeah, the people that they used to make the Warframes originally.
Yeah.
Okay. And even as frames went, Ballas was able to briefly... I argue against Ballas was able to briefly control Umbra. I think there's a difference between the Asimov 3 rules of robotics compared to I'm using you like a marionette.
Yes, yeah, I felt it was that. It was like a restrictive programming. Well, that's why the Tenno had to help Umbra stab Ballas.
Yeah. It's also the same. reason why Umbra went, right, now you go kill your son. It's like...
Well, that was the virus, the helmet virus. When it became infested, he went like berserk.
Didn't Ballast tell him to
Basically
do it?
just like... Sorry?
Didn't Ballast tell him to do it?
Yeah, he infected him, and that whole sequence in the bed is you slowly becoming infected. And he just like says, "All right, I'm gonna leave you and your son in this room and step outside and lock the door. And when I come back in, you better be a bloody mess." Sort of thing. He didn't really control you.
Actually, here's a point. So remember the whole reason why Teshin betrays you is because the
Queen's got a stick.
Queen's got the stick, right? They got the magic
Yeah.
stick. I'm pretty sure that the Orokin went, yep, we realized what we did wrong here, right? We based it on a stick we weren't holding. So this time, skin color. Yeah? Everyone got skin color? Good.
Jeez. Yeah.
Last reply. It's more likely that these are recent discoveries than old, reused ones. Why bother making warframes if they knew kiddos could control these necromechs? Why not slap a transference bolt on something as big as a city and go full on Neon Genesis Evangelion for real, and not these fun-sized, in comparison, tin suits filled with living McDonald's McNuggets pink goo?
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it? It's like, I love this.
LudificorPayne got it earlier when he said that you can't build them fast enough, sort of thing.
Potentially, yeah.
You can't what?
Because the thing is, the sentients can control robotics in the same way, like they can adapt to anything, they can take any technology and use it in themselves. So if you've got something that you build like a necromech and they can adapt to that and take it and use it for themselves, then you're going to be building them ammunition.
That is actually a point, because I mean, if the sentients are able to corrupt Ballast, an Orokin into a sentient, then what stops them from doing that with other things like the necromechs? Like, again, they could have adapted the necromechs, they could have taken them over, so on and so forth.
Well, one would assume that in some way the necromech's development or building is linked to the void, because
they use void energy. They do.
Yeah.
They have like a nullification field, and their grenades are void and all that. But it's more like they're probably just bloody expensive to make.
I assume that must be the thing, and hard and take time to repair. Yeah, they couldn't mass produce them. But it just be nice to be explained.
Yeah,
because it normally it doesn't need to be explained, but the fact that it's like, yeah, but these things are better than warframes, or can be better.
Actually, just to highlight, I would love it if you were to try and fight a sentient with a necromech, and the sentient just really kicks your ass and like, oh, I have to get back in my warframe now.
Well, you probably do have to get out to reset its adaptation anyway, so you just had the necromech. You know how they adapt to the damage?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, you would have to like get out into your child form to hit him with some void damage anyways, so... Assuming that you applied necromech to like massive sentient war machines, sans children to use their void magic on them, then yeah, they would probably just start hitting walls once the sentients adapted.
Cool. Right. I think that's it for this topic. So, oh god, here I am getting ready to do the memes, and I just realized we've got like the graphs and everything to do.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. See? I know how to do my show.
I wish I could raise my shoulders or just bring my hands up in sort of a confused or disgusted state, but yeah.
Yep. Right.
You kind of always look confused with the avatar.
Yeah, LudificorPayne. Poker face. Captain Poker Face. See, that means he's got a full flush. Full flush. It's a brand new move. It's exclusive to Excalibur Prime. Full flush.
He does look very sad.
Now he's got a royal straight. Yep. Now he's got 2 pair. Now he's thinking, fuck off, Drew. So...
It's not fast enough to do like quick motions. I was like, yeah, I can do that. Okay, let's try that.
Okay,
what's this mean? There we go. What's this mean?
You need a poop. As I said, fuck off, Drew. Right, moving on. We're moving on to the graphs. LudificorPayne, you going to take the time?
Yeah.
Good man. Right, so graph number 1. Oh, I have to bring it up for myself because I can't actually look at the thing. Wrong part. Doing topic 3. I think.
What?
You're putting it in topic 3.
Oh, you mean the time?
Yeah.
Don't just say random things. That means nothing, by the way.
Do we have a third topic?
No.
No.
Then where is it say topic? Oh.
No, just saying.
Moving
Oh,
on.
it's in topic 3. It's like if I went.
No, you're putting it in topic 3, right?
Drew, it's in the tool shed. Drew, it's in the tool shed.
Okay, cool. Right, so first.
Drew, it's in the tool shed.
So moving on to the first graph, and yet again, more people have voted while we're recording this. Right, so our first graph from last week. Do you have problems with energy leech / parasitic Xmas units? 42% said yes, while 58% said no. Where do you fall in this, Payne?
Oh, no, not really. I mean, the infests are bloody annoying, but that's part of the challenge, really. But otherwise, no, it's like, if you have to use an ability to kill a powerful enemy, you're spending energy. In this case, it's just an enemy that takes your energy before you kill it.
LudificorPayne?
It depends. If I'm not paying attention and then they just eat all my energy, I do get annoyed, and yeah, I guess that's a problem. I'd go yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the second graph. Should there be more energy affecting Xmas units? So do you remember when I came up with a different one? Yep. So 21% said that they don't care, 27% said yes, and 52% said no. Interesting that 52% said no when 58% said that they had no problem with energy leech / parasitic.
People had problem with your idea. Problem.
My idea
was
was
coming out very trolly ideas. There was definitely like, oh my god, I would be so
I was trying to be supportive, but I did really feel it was a bit much last week. I was like, okay.
Well, the thing is, they've been recently implementing a lot of stuff that disables your abilities, makes your abilities irrelevant. Stuff that basically is like, in this cool superhero space ninja game, you just have to pretend to be a regular dude with a gun. And so more enemies that do that probably isn't going to make the game feel better.
What other new stuff have they done that?
Well, the necromechs can, like, they don't get affected by abilities. They can disable your abilities when they're next to you, sort of stuff. And also bosses are immune to, like, certain abilities. But it's more just like, the whole point is that we're not just a dude with a gun. We're a dude with a gun and superpowers. And enemies that stop us from using our superpowers make the game feel boring.
Weirdly enough, it's the superpowers that have most of the issue with the newer Warframes. So let's move on to So I'm assuming the pair of you are both no on that one.
Yeah.
Traitors. Right.
I think there could be something, because I like having variety within a niche or thing, but personally, your idea was a bit much for me. But I was like, okay, yeah, Xeno, that's fine. Let's move on. I thought about it, and I'm like, oh god, that was so evil. It was so evil.
It's fine. Right. Should arc... Now this... oh, no. I thought that was different, right? Should arc guns lose their cooldown? Right. 15% of people said no. 18% said that they didn't care. And 67 said yes. Woo. Yeah, they really need to lose their cooldown massively.
They already have a unique ammo type that's super rare. Just make that rarer and kill the cooldown.
Just give me a
That's
mutation mod. Job done.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it through mods. Just give me a mod because if you change the gun out when you've got more ammo, the cooldown is lessened. So just give me a mutation mod so I can just get more ammo on the fly. Job done. I'll happily take the hit on the DPS for losing a mod slot for it.
Yeah, it's just like when you want to use an arc gun in a mission, you're like, oh, 5 minutes time, I'll be able to pull that out.
Yeah.
The fourth question. So the whole point of this was arc guns or primary and secondary versus having all 4 weapons on a wheel. Right? 31% said all 4 weapons on a wheel, and 69% said one or the other. Genuinely, I was surprised by this. And a happy surprise, but I think it would make the break gauge stuff a lot harder. Where do you land on this, Payne?
As a console player, we already don't have enough buttons, so assigning more functions to single buttons and stuff is a little risky. Where
No. The whole idea was that it would. So either you go in with just the arc gun and your melee weapon, or primary and secondary with your melee weapon, or when you hold to swap to your melee weapon, instead of swapping to your melee weapon, it brings up a weapon wheel and you can choose which one you want.
Just from my understanding on the PlayStation, is it PlayStation you play on?
Xbox.
Xbox, yeah.
Xbox. How do you use Warframe powers on the Xbox controller?
You hold down a button and then you use the right A, B, C, X button sort of thing.
Right.
And they're each just 1, 2, 3, 4, basically.
Right. Is there? I mean, the way I would code it on the, I was thinking about this for the that is I assume you've got a button now for swap weapon, yeah.
Yeah.
So what it would be?
It's all very efficient.
Yeah.
Well, we hold that down to pull out our melee weapon.
Yeah.
Yes, but you wouldn't need to use that anymore because the melee weapon would be one of the 4 options, wouldn't it?
Okay, here's a good analog. When you open the gear wheel in the middle of combat, how quickly can you navigate that?
Really quickly.
Yeah.
See, I have to take a moment and pause. That's a big thing for me. Is in the middle of combat, cycling down to whatever I need to grab in the middle of a gunfight. If you do that all the time for swapping weapons, and you're not exactly precise with it.
So tapping would still swap between primary and secondary, right? So
I think that would work.
Tap would always be primary, secondary, but holding would give you access to all 4 weapons. So you could go melee.
You'd within 2 pushes, you'd hold, and then I don't know which you'd either use sum up, down, left, right, or whatever to pick.
I was thinking
hold, tap one button, or even L buttons or whatever. Just hold, tap another button, you get your arc gun out. Hold, tap another button, you go straight to melee. It's yeah.
What is the hold button to swap to melee?
It's the change weapons button. So that would swap.
Yeah, which button on the controller is it? Is it a shoulder?
Oh, Y.
Right. So basically, for me, you would hold Y, and then you'd have to use the movement joystick to do it, or the direction. Well, no, because your left thumb is already on. Yeah, so either the D-pad or the left joystick to quickly change.
Yeah, you would use the right stick is what they use for the other stuff, which I like because you can still move while you're doing that. I think it could work. I like the idea that you still have your quick melee, you still have your swap weapons quickly.
Yeah.
And then if you want to pull out your melee weapon properly or you want to pull out your arc gun properly, you pull up the wheel. I think that works.
Yeah. So
it's just a little awkward.
Go on. But I mean, there's so many damn things to do, isn't there? So, So now that we have fully elaborated on how the integration would work on both PC and console, which would you go for? Exclusively,
I like your system.
So you would go for all 4?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
I'd like thematically, I like the idea of only bringing an arc gun, but I also don't like the idea of running out of ammo for an arc gun and having to just run around the map with just my melee weapon, hoping that a random enemy that drops arc gun ammo shows up.
I've got to be honest, for me personally, I would make it that either the arc gun would use primary and secondary ammo, Or I would make it that primary and secondary ammo can't drop and arc gun ammo does drop.
That's pretty good. It would, yeah.
Because again, I don't like how it works. But if we use the all 4 option, then I'd probably do the whole mutator thing that LudificorPayne has proposed, like the modern thing. Probably have that anyway. But right,
Yep.
LudificorPayne, as we have elaborated, as you have had a week to mull on it and stab me in the back with my energy affecting Xmas. So which of these 2 options are you going to?
I'm not fussed really. I would be fine with either, to be honest. But I would prefer the original one. I guess fine. I like, but if it meant I could have all 4, my issue is the cooldown. If I'm having all 4, I wouldn't mind all 4. I just feel it's a bit much.
No. But... The cooldown. Everyone unanimously agree. Well,
yeah,
I say unanimously. The majority of people say no.
One thing is the cooldown one. I don't mind having all 4. I think it just feels better if you are sacrificing something to gain it, and they can balance against it. But I don't think at this point they can take that away from people. So I'd go with all 4 with no cooldown.
Cool.
If they were all as strong as the Mausolean, absolutely, it should be either or. But most of them aren't as strong as the Mausolean. If you had to bring like just the dual Decurion, you would be screwed. That wouldn't be a sacrifice.
Yeah. Here's some cool giant pistols for you to dual wield. They're absolutely awful, but they're cool giant pistols. Oh my god, aren't you so amazed? No, they're absolutely awful. They've always been awful. Just somebody designed those. Somebody spent time building these cool guns only for whoever put the stats to go, yeah, they're rubbish because I decided I needed a rubbish gun. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move away from the topic.
Right. Number 5. So card number 5. Break gauge for, and I put like mini in parentheses for bosses. Right? 3% said no. 19% said that they didn't care. 25% said that they didn't understand. I felt it was important to have that distinction. And 53% said yes. And I did follow through. I did actually put a link to the Play Frame Let's Play series of Sekiro. I'm still watching it. I fucking love it. But yeah. So Loz, do you want to do we want to go over this at all, or do we want to just?
No, Payne. Do you get what we mean by break gauge?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a really good example of this already in Warframe. It's the new Jackal boss fight, and it sucks. You know how you have to stab it with your Parazon to go to the next stage?
No. That's not a break gauge at all. Because you have to do that to fight the mob, right? That is how you kill the mob. That's not how a break gauge would function. With a break gauge, you could just shoot the mob continuously and not to the point of only like 1% damage. Is that it is feasible to kill the boss by just fighting it normally. It's sort of right. I know you're right. You are kind of. It is kind of on the thing is that you put it into a break state, but the fight is based around you doing that. A break gauge should mean you don't.
It's not mandatory. Yeah. I guess I fall into the category of I don't get it then. I think it works. I think it's a good idea actually.
Maybe one thing we could do, Loz, is look to expand upon it as a topic. If you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example to expand on how you could use it a cool way. Is let's say to use the break gauge, there was something in the room of the Jackal that you used to electrocute the Jackal, so you could do the Parazon thing. But what that does is I don't know. I know there's not actually loot on the boss, but by doing that, you reduce the loot on the boss. So you could use a consumable to put the break gauge down that puts the boss in a weakened state if you do additional damage, but you affect the loot at the end. That's how a break gauge system could work. Yeah.
I guess you got to deal with latency as well because Sekiro isn't a multiplayer game. If you've got something timing based,
I didn't want to say, but Sekiro it's fine for the mechanic, but I think in Sekiro I mean, I would give you an example of a turn-based fight, like an RPG. There'll be I can give you I'll probably find a picture and give an example where it's like the health gauge and then a gauge below it called the break gauge, and if you delete the gauge, you just do additional damage to the boss, and the boss won't use X abilities per turn. It's Sekiro is a very specific. Sorry, Sekiro. Yeah, that's timing based, and that bit it's very niche, is what I mean.
Well, I imagine they'd want to use the Parazon to evolve it. That's immediately what I thought of when you brought it up in Sekiro Analog.
I'm gonna have to see the Sekiro Analog because I'm not sure if it is actually what it's supposed to be. I'll have to go watch that.
I know it is. The guy basically is talking about it being a break gauge and he explains it and everything. Right. It is because yeah, I'll go over it with Loz later. Anyway,
this would be worth doing a full topic on. Anyways,
cool. And then, so where we were all yes on this, yes?
yes.
Cool. Right, and then our 6th card, which I have to manually do. Do you use set mods? 0% said no. 0% said I don't have any set mods. 0% said a full set. 25% said the odd one. And 70. Did I say 78? Wait, what? How do you have 25 and 78? I apparently we have an extra 3% here somewhere. 78% said partial set. So the idea is that it was more than one but less than a full set. So yeah.
Oh yeah, the full sets are too hard to use. But I'd like to.
Where are you? Are you partial or just the odd one?
Well, everybody uses like hunter munitions and stuff, so everybody uses the odd one. But I go out of my way to use them because I like the idea of it. It's just that some are really hard to find room for.
Which one's hunter munitions?
It's the one on assault rifles that gives bleed procs on crits at 30% regardless of stays chance. So it's like really, really good at getting slash procs on enemies. Basically, it's just like
learn how to mod.
Yeah, it sucks because everybody uses it on crit weapons and it's almost mandatory, but it's very good, so everyone kind of uses it. But it's kind of like the exception to the rule because most set mod bonuses aren't great except the gladiator and vigilante ones, which just give you more damage.
I love that the hunter munitions one was clearly not supposed to be that big a deal, and it was all supposed to be about the pet because the set bonuses gives the pet damage if they've got a slash proc on them, I think. And that was clearly supposed to be the goal. In the end, though, the one mod just was like, oh, but this is just so good. It's just, oh.
Yeah, I like the idea of it, but pets don't do much damage. Like, having to change how you mod your warframe and your guns to make your pet do slightly more damage? Nah.
Well, Hunter Adrenaline.
Yeah.
Do you know what they should do on Hunter Munitions is swap the Hunter Munitions basic thing with the set bonus? Like the basic mod, and that you have to use the full set to get that buff. Because that buff
I mean,
is so
you'd have to think about it a bit, but that is actually a good way of thinking about it, maybe. I like the new ones, the Saxum set that gives you, it's sort of like the Jet Katag's augment, where you do a percentage of the enemy's health to lifted enemies. It sounds really cool and fun, but in order to do that, I've got to have a mod on my warframe, a mod on my pistol, and a mod on my melee weapon, just to make my melee weapon do something in a very specific scenario. So I like the idea of set mods. It's just that they cost a lot for what they give.
Cool. Let's move on.
Cool.
Supporter questions.
By the way, there is one set I think people overlooked, and that is the Umbral set, and that one I think doesn't count because everyone just
oh yeah, okay.
So. Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't come up.
Yep.
Right.
Wait, supporter questions.
You write the time down.
Oh yeah, sure. Yes, I can.
Thank you. Can I find the right thing to click on? Yes, I can. Is it going to load?
Don't know.
Why is it not? I'm trying to click it, and the screen goes black as if to make it big, and then I don't see anything.
Click on original link.
No, now it's finally popped up. Yeah, it needs to pop up before you can do that. Right, it's here. It's finally here. I can now look at it.
Cool.
Right, okay, here we go. Corgellian at Meme Fuel, let loose those questions of you.
No, that's me saying, like, to ask the questions.
All I do is read the teleprompter.
Well, you didn't read the last one, I said.
Damn it, didn't realise that, did I? Tatsu, where did farts go?
In your face.
Demos.
Demos is a web fart.
Dovaro, how many people do you reckon buy the t-shirts? I would love to buy a hat personally if you ever get around to it. My mom is playing Warframe and getting sucked into it via the Switch. What's one piece of advice you can give her as she's starting out?
Well, we're not going to answer the first question first.
What? Where do farts go?
No, I thought, like, how many people buy the t-shirts?
Well, I read out the whole thing. It's up to you to answer it how you want.
Okay.
Pay for.
Very few people buy the t-shirts, understandably so. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll look into hats. I do want a hat. I mean, I'm wearing a Game Grumps hat right now, and it's like all stitched and everything. It's amazing. The one piece of advice to say to your mum is make sure you save your Plat, your starting Plat, for Warframe and weapon slots.
Yeah.
My advice would be to watch 10 o'clock and answer in the description below if you're playing on Switch, because you could be in a well good chance to win some platinum.
That's a fair point, actually.
Yeah. Find some some friends to play with, or like a little community, because it's a lot better than just playing by yourself.
Droogle asks, have you looked into Subscribestar?
Yes, it's really complicated.
And do you think there will ever be a Bratton Mark II?
When I read that question, I was like, I'd love there to be Mark II weapons. I would genuinely love a Bratton Mark II.
Isn't just the Bratton Mark II?
Well,
We
okay,
need
fine. Then
more
I want a Mark
variations.
III Bratton.
Isn't that just the Vandal?
I'm gonna slap you. Next, I'm gonna say the Mark IV, and you're gonna say, no, that's the Bratton Prime. No, the Bratton Prime is the Mark Zero. It's the
I was just quickly checking if there's any other Brattons I didn't know about. I actually meant the Bratton there. Right, Corgulus Borcus. Oh no, sorry, I've skipped one, sorry. Cool 3303. Do you have any expectations for further DMOS content, or are you satisfied with what has been delivered so far?
No, I'd like more, especially follow on to the plot. I reckon that they would do like a world event sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd hope so. And there's a bracket that says, so if 2 necromechs only usable on open worlds are enough, or if the new companions are enough of a mix-up.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the new companions. I think I would still want a bit more, but the necromechs definitely more. Just 2 is not enough.
Yeah, I mean, the new companions, the modular system really surprised me, because they showed us the concept art for them, and it was like all of the pieces together. It looks like they cut up the models and then like made it modular afterwards. So I don't know. It feels kind of weird just saying new companions when it really. I thought they would just be 2, and it would be pretty good, but not as big a deal as it was. Anyways, focus.
Right, next. Corcus Borcus. What do you think the imposter is? Who do you think the imposter is in the family?
LOZ. Oh shit, you said family. LOZ.
Didn't like.
Aha!
the,
My secret has been discovered! I am part of the family!
Who's really under that avatar?
LOZ, you get what that's a reference to, yes?
No?
Imposter?
Oh.
Yeah, Among Us is just blown up massively.
Has it now?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, do you think Warframe should follow Fall Guys and become bean versions of themselves and try to get through obstacle courses through the start chart?
Yeah, why not?
Also, Gundam Necromech when?
Soon, TM. Like, we saw the Debbie Sheen design of the Necromech last week. I mean, oh my god, that one was just so freaking amazing. I really want it.
He's hoping.
Bird Frame Prime for LOZ. Scientifically, does a false color display of a non-visible spectrum of radiation have to be graded in rainbow hues for it to count? As an example, can you display a thermal radiation reading as tones of red instead of coloring cold areas as blues, and then panning through greens and yellows to read as it gets hotter? Asking a friend who doesn't believe thermal goggles can be red tinted.
No, that's called infrared!
What? What do you mean?
If you only do one spectrum of the thermoptic range, it's just infrared. This is based on the Metal Gear Solid thing about thermal goggles, because he did find them, and it's just everything red.
Yeah, but you can have black and white thermal goggles.
Can you?
I think you can. You can convert the displayed colors to different colors, but the reason they're specifically green to begin with is because light has different lengths of wavelengths, and it's easier to pick up certain hues than others. I don't know.
Yeah, but
you're the scientist, LOZ.
My understanding, no, the whole thing is just a false color spectrum. You can set that to whatever you want.
Yeah.
It would have to be red to something though.
No, this is
Like-
just red.
Red to darker red.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure you can do like red to black.
Well, I
Pretty
mean,
sure.
Thermoptic is typically white to black with all the colors in between.
My understanding of what the way, because it's like these colors don't exist. Obviously, it's trying to the output is trying to put it in something the way that our clunky eyes that work on specific wavelengths of light would be able to differentiate. It's like we can't see electrons, or we can't see most of the spectrum because we're only to that region. So the output of the thermal device has to be able to go, oh, it's between this and this. These are hot, these are cold. But it's then a software issue. What does this wavelength then output it on the
You
screen?
have to calibrate
It's not.
it.
Yeah, it's not actually green heat.
Yeah, no,
No.
we know that. It's just like, you know,
Yeah.
how to interpret
I mean,
it.
I guess the thing is you don't want them to be red anyways, because
The
red's a
whole
lot more
point
visible.
of the thermoptic stuff for Metal Gear Solid was to see through smoke and shit like that, right? Which,
Yeah.
weirdly enough, infrared does.
Okay, for instance, I'll just give this to Xeno then, so he knows that there can be. Wait, where's this? I found you an image, Xeno.
No, move on.
No,
Move
there
on,
you go.
move on.
There's an image where it doesn't use green.
That's a bloody
but
good
it's not all
question, though. It's such a
fucking
short
red.
one.
Yeah, it's not all red. Okay, moving on. Bird Frame Prime. For Xeno, DE has once again nerfed an ability that has come with the Helminth Chrysalis system. This time, they have nerfed the Marked for Death ability because of it proccing finisher-based functions on every enemy that was hit in the ability radius, because it carried over unintended amounts of damage to the radial burst. Was this ability something you're expecting to get nerfed before you saw it in action? Were you going to try using it before it got nerfed, or were you completely unaware of the power of Marked for Death before this nerf?
The last one, mostly because I'm still trying to find a fucking Magi Predacite.
Might be worth it to buy it for Plat when Sun sells one, man.
Yeah,
Just move
apparently
on.
he didn't want to fucking sell when I'm online.
Oof. Oof.
Fucking guy's an asshole. Trust me, I'd cheat that fucking bloody well.
Well, that's
Moving
it
on.
for the comments. Let's move on.
Yeah, community responses.
The responses. Do you want to get the time
Yeah.
again? There's not too many this week. Through them. Peter Graver, at Zelagelian, your bizarre idea for this energy reduction Xmas is a horrible idea as a unit. It would aggravate everyone guaranteed. If you
No.
want energy reduction, then play sorties or nightmare missions that this affects already. Also combined with Zdrugal. Sorry, I don't like Xeno's unit that can steal most of my energy idea. I think it's cheap to have a unit that can snap its fingers and negate my energy.
No, it wasn't going to be a snap of fingers thing. It was going to be a drain. It was going to be over time. But even so, like, you know.
I think it was a hard cap then. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
Still
it was a
TT.
hard cap, but the idea was that it would slowly get to that hard cap.
Okay. Celatihi, you can roll through Fire Wave. Funny enough, I did it while listening to this segment. It does a small knock up, but you can roll it. I'm not sure. I swear that they
No,
changed that. I'll have to look
think
into it.
I do think you can, and basically the force of moving forward, so like the applied acceleration going forward, and the applied acceleration going backward just makes you go up.
Oh, okay. I think Nova and Rhino need a different passive. Rhino, for instance, is just a heavy impact mod which doesn't affect melee, heavy, or ground slams. So really, it's not really useful in 99.9% of situations.
I don't know about Rhino, but definitely Nova.
Now, there was a comment here which is quite long. I was planning to read it out, but I think we might be a bit short on time. So, but I also wanted to explain because it's from Pablo's World. And if you're listening, Pablo's World, please explain exactly what you meant because I'll read a little bit of it. I get we can all have our opinions, but I'm really curious why you all want to restrictions on people who like to play long missions because you all don't. It's like saying I only play Warframe 1 hour a day, so I want the game to only allow players to play 2 hours a day. It doesn't affect me, so I don't care. I want people to adjust the way it goes on things, but it doesn't actually say what suggestions we were saying for people who play long missions. And please let us know because we do play long missions.
This is the energy thing. This is because
Is it something like that? Because but I just want to point out though, what's that got to do with people long missions? Because just to point out,
no, because
first
the
of all,
whole point
long
is that if you're constantly losing energy, you can't stay in the mission. You
well,
cannot.
it depends how. No, it doesn't. But you didn't even state how rare
No, I
that
did.
enemy might be. It
I
might
did.
be really rare.
No, I stated exactly that. The whole point of you remember me saying constantly nuclear deterrent. The whole point of the energy leech, the parasitic Xmas.
That's nothing to do with how quickly it spawns. Saying nuclear deterrent, that means nothing.
No, but it spawns really frequently the later in the mission you get.
Well, yeah, but you didn't state, in my opinion, how much these spawned. I don't think you did. I don't
What,
think
my
you did.
one? Or...
But anyway, I wanted to point out that I don't think anyone has played missions longer than me and Xeno. Seeing as
We've done 24 hours!
we've done multiple 24-hour missions. So we do like long missions, I want to say. And I think it would be kind of cool to have different mobs affecting it. Maybe Xeno's idea was too much, but we don't hate people in long missions. We are the advocates of the long mission. Very much so. In fact, at some point,
moderation. In moderation.
At some point, we will do 24 hours on.
God, why is everyone committing me to this?
Oh, it's being done. But anyway, can you go back to Pablo's World and explain that a little bit more with specifics on what we said or what? Because we do like long missions. I want to put that across. We really do. And I miss the days of playing Void for 2 hours straight. I really do. It just doesn't give the same feel now. Anyway, moving on. Legion Rapier 61. Arc guns are a joke. My Shadow does literally 10 times the damage of my Grappler, and it reloads way faster. Having just got my Necromech this morning and trying it, my Arc gun just felt dumb. Yay, giant Necro robot with a fucking cap gun. Seriously, make Arc guns 10 times stronger. Fair enough.
Agree.
Chris Mahan, the Medjay Pedocytes do just spawn in the world, but I've only seen 2 spawn the whole time since Demos has been out.
That's nice. I've not seen any yet.
I've been playing this week, and
if you tell me you've had one, I'm going to head.
I was just shooting things, and then I captured 2, but I didn't understand because I didn't even have my capture.
God!
And I don't even get. I was just like,
they spawn in the wild. They just spawn in the wild. You don't have to do any of the conservation.
But I didn't have my gun out. They were just
you don't have to. You don't have to. They just spawn in the wild.
Well, they spawned in a pile of mobs I was shooting, and then I just picked them up, and I was like, "Oh, good captures." I'm like,
"Sorry, what's that? I hate you."
Right, and then lastly, Panda242 said, "What Arcwing is Xeno using?"
Oh, it's the it. No shit, is it? No, it's going to be the Itzel, but it's the I think the Prime skin. It's got like all the gold shenanigans on it. It's not actually a distinct Warframe. It's like Arcwing. It's just got a skin on it.
Yeah, it came with the Titania Prime access.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So it's not it's an Arcwing using it's the skin.
Yeah.
Right. That's that for that.
Missile.
Let us move on
to the memes.
The memes, which I will link.
Right, I'll get the time.
That's chat. There we go. No, that's to Xeno.
Good job.
There we go.
Right.
I just saw the last thing I linked. Was like, is that pasting? Is that actually pasted?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Whoa. Okay. Meme. Right. So all these memes. I haven't done it ages, but meme frame review. I haven't watched PewDiePie in a while. I don't even know if he even does that anymore. So let us do some memes. These are all from the meme frame subreddit. Links are in the comments. Sorry, in the description of this video. Do go there if you ever want a joke from me for some Warframe memes. They daily there's more memes. But anyway, so meme number 1, Xeno. Rough old days. Back in my day, you needed 3 Mutilist LSV coordinates to craft 1 key.
Oh God. Getting those coordinates was it's such a baller. You just couldn't get them. Like, Mesa was one of the few Warframes I actually just flat out bought because I just couldn't get them.
Yep. Meme number 2. Fashion is key. Red button, buying fashion items to make Warframes look better. Blue button, buying mods, formats to make the build better. Me. Red button. I love that Sonic the Hedgehog provided the perfect second image for the 2-button thing with the red button and robotic pushing it. It is amazing. But yes, we all know get those Warframe fashion items. That's more important. And this is what was it for that someone's mum playing on the Switch? Is in what to spend platinum on? This is the choice they have playing.
Right.
Right, meme number 3.
Oh shoot! I accidentally closed it. Yeah, keep going. Oh wait,
meme number 3.
What?
That's a community shout out, I assume.
How did we get that? Where's? Sorry, bear with me. Yes, it is a community shout out. Where's meme number 3? That's community shout out.
There it is.
That's weird. I don't know why that appeared. Okay.
Huh. Tattoo of my scintillant collection. Did you get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Yep. The variation on the "this is where I put my scintillant collection if I had any" meme. Anyway, moving on to meme number 4. Okay. I like pink flowers. What's with these stupid colors? They don't even look good on me. But these colors look good on flowers.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Right. Meme number 5. So, I can shoot with the left click? When you try to tell the lore to your friend who just started the game. Sentience, Old War, Town System, Space Mob, New War, Origins.
Yeah. And now there's
This is me
Deimos
and my
in there somewhere.
boyfriend.
Oh my god.
Just talking to him, and he's just like, what are you saying? You realize you sound like a madman, right? You've been here 2 hours. Yeah, anyways.
And we've just finished the prologue of the game.
Oh my
Now
god.
let's get on to the plot that's going on now.
Number 6.
Right. And number 6, finally, every time. This is an old and trusty meme. I finally found it. After 15 years, a new blueprint. Requires 1 argon. Yeah! Always great, these ones. I love it.
Yeah.
Right, that's it for the memes. Let us have the community shout-outs, Xeno.
Cool. So, are you able to copy paste? Are you able to time?
I will copy paste.
I'll time then. Cool. Right. So our first community shout out of the week is not a meme. Right. Is Toothy Mouth by Cleo Natarin. And this is where Cleo has taken multiple warframes. This is only displaying Wisp for everyone watching right now. You can see the full thing in the description below.
So there's also a Valband Prime, an Ember Prime, and a Sarin, and they all look freaky and awesome.
Yep.
Oh my god, these are nice.
Yep. Ready for number 2?
Yeah, just go for it.
Our second community shout out. No, do not close the web browser. Stop it. Right. Our second community shout out. The Dragon Guards His Treasure Hoard by Archer.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely freaking amazing.
Okay, there's only one thing that would improve this better is if they had like a little shrine or a poster in the back to Parvos Granum, because that's what the treasure guy says. Like, I will guard your treasure, Parvos. Yeah. So yeah, that would be the only thing that can make that picture better. The
third community shout out is Mesa Prime Work in Progress by Veldemoth.
Oh god. It's just a doodle. Just a doodle.
Well, in this case it's a work in progress.
It is. Yeah. But I love the pose.
Yeah.
The line work and everything.
Well,
so
Veldemoth is the one that's done the Oberon and Excalibur Prime for our current run of 50 10 o'clocks. This quote unquote season. Yeah. The fourth community shout out is Necromech Crouch by Floofy. Which is
I love how the Necromech squish up when they crouch, so I made a dumb comic about it. We gotta be stealthy. Smoke screen! Sneak mode activated, and it sort of just crunches up its knees a bit and then bumps around. That's brilliant.
Right. Fifth community shout out is Operate. Oh, no, wait. No, 5.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is not changing. Are you not changing?
Ooh.
Stuck. Oh, it's because I accidentally put the damn same thing twice. Ugh. I'm so bad at this. There we go. Right. The fifth community shout out is Operator by Chloe.
My very first piece using Procreate. I wanted to reference some capture I did of my Tenno.
I think Procreate is like a drawing application.
Mm-hmm. It's I think it's on the iPad.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Very awesome picture.
Yep.
It is nice.
And then I want to thank everyone on Twitter who actually helped me re-find this. Our sixth community, Thank you. Our sixth community shout out is Lich Done Goofed by Primed Average. I saw this a week or so ago and I wanted to use it last week, but we had too many. So I was going to save it for this weekend, and I lost it. So thank you very much for people that...
My lich don't goof. Behold, Tenno, I've stolen all of these for myself. That's okay, I've got plenty of those. I also took this purple card thing. Crunch. What is the purple card? Wait, what?
It's a ribbon, isn't it?
Oh. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I absolutely love this. Cool, right. That's it for community shoutouts.
Cool, right. We'll finish with my quote then.
Yep.
So, here we go. The sentient's been in bed with the entire Orokin network since Ballast. They've infected everything. They get into your orbiter, cephalons, arsenal, listen to your communication calls, every transference, every transmission. The more technology used, the easier it is for them to keep tabs on you. It's a brave new universe out there. At least it better be.
I
think I have used this one before, but I couldn't find it in any of my quotes.
Do I know this?
It has Will Smith in it. It is a 1998 film.
Do it again.
The sentient's been in bed with the entire Orokin network since Ballast. They've infected everything. They get into your orbiter, cephalons, arsenal, listen to your communication calls, every transference, every transmission. The more technology you use, the easier it is for them to keep tabs on you. It's a brave new universe out there. At least it better be.
This isn't Men in Black, is it?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It's a serious film, and the setting is like the real world as it was in 1998.
As it was in 1990. Oh shit! I know what this is. It's not actually Will Smith who's talking, is it?
No, it's not Will Smith who's talking here.
Right.
Someone's talking to Will Smith here.
Yeah. This is Enemy of the State.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, Will Smith's character is being hunted down, and like everything he has on him, like everything's got a computer in it, and he, oh god, who's the actor that he meets? He meets like another character who basically has his own Faraday cage set up and everything to try and get Will Smith off the grid, and it's kind of that he stumbles into it, and it's like he's a guy who lives off grid, and there's a conspiracy going on that Will Smith accidentally gets. It's like hidden in a toy, and he gets it put in his bag, and then he gets blamed for it, and they think they try and the state goes after him, and then he goes for that guy to try and help him. And it's a very interesting film and very true in this, very prophetic in this day and age we live in 20 odd years later.
So that Y2K panic then. Oh, that sounds amazing. I've got to see this now.
Yeah, it's really good movie.
Especially, and then you can, after watching it, and consider that it was 1998, and it's like the surveillance state of governments and things. It was like ahead of its time, really good film.
Cool. Right. Well, thank you very much, Lucifer. No, wait.
Just go Payne.
Payne. Ludificor. I can't remember. Payne. Yes, thank you very much, Payne, for both supporting the shenanigans that I do and coming on the show. It's been and being up at 5 a.m. I mean,
wait, I want to ask you something before you go, because I was trying to get Xeno to ask this. Would you like to see Xeno do any more things for his supporters? Like, I don't know, because obviously we can only have people on 10 o'clock, and a few people at a time, but I don't know, playing sessions or streaming sessions. Is there anything you would like to see, and for the people at home, that would make you donate money to support Xeno?
I think some streams would be good, but I know the internet there is kind of a bit rough.
Yeah.
But I think if he could do some streams at some point and just interact with the supporters directly, it would be pretty good. Because I know you're pretty busy and the internet sucks, but I don't know. You feel very approachable, and I think people like you because of that.
I will look into it and shout at Birmingham City Council.